Prime Minister Imran Khan will travel to Russia later this month for a meeting with President Vladimir Putin. This will be the first visit by a Pakistani Prime Minister in almost 2 decades. His trip to Russia is anticipated to follow his trip to China, where he attended the Beijing Olympics and met with key Chinese officials, including President Xi Jinping. President Putin also attended the opening ceremony, which was boycotted by the United States, the European Union, and a number of Western countries, due to China's alleged human rights violations in the Xinjiang province. The most significant aspect of Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan's visit to Moscow was that it was not an invitation from Russia, but rather an invitation requested by Islamabad. According to Jan Achakzai, a Pakistani geopolitical expert and human rights activist, Russia did not seek our help, and the US did not prevent us from visiting Moscow. Is it Pakistan's irrelevance, or the US's apparent interpretation, that we will return from Russia empty-handed and beg financial concessions from Washington, in institutions such as the IMF, FATF, and others, from a position of additional weakness? Russia will not offer Pakistan anything, according to Achakzai, because losing India, for the sake of Islamabad's assistance, is not an option for Moscow. Pakistan's assistance is often accompanied by regular requests for help and loans. At this point, Moscow will not satisfy Pakistan for fear of offending India. Since the Biden administration has trapped President Putin in a tight situation in the Ukraine conflict, Russia needs Delhi's cooperation more than anything else, the author argued. Is Russia willing to give up India in exchange for Pakistan? After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Russia-Pakistan connection grew slowly, and India's sensitivities toward Pakistan hindered Russia from speeding up the relationship. The strategic basis for Russia's tight ties with Pakistan has previously been examined, but Moscow is currently attempting to tread lightly in this relationship so as not to irritate India. The trade between India and Russia is well ahead of that between Russia and Pakistan. In the defense sector, India signed contracts worth $5.2 billion for the S-400 missile defense system and $950 million for 4 frigates in 2018, followed by a $3 billion deal for a nuclear submarine to replace the INS Chakra, approval for the purchase of 464 T-90 tanks worth $2 billion, and the launch of a joint project to manufacture AK-203 rifles the following year. Since 2000, the two nations have had yearly summits without interruption, and the leaders meet on a regular basis on the sidelines of international summits. Both countries work closely on issues of common national interest, such as at the UN, BRICS, G20, and SCO. Russia also strongly supports India receiving a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. In addition, Russia has vocally backed India joining the NSG and Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation. If India detects the emergence of a Russia-China-Pakistan axis, it will be extremely harmful to Moscow's interests. India is not only a tried and true strategic ally, but it is also a far larger market than Pakistan, with whom Russia's multi-vector approach hinges. Also, Russia would not consider it a victory if its actions force India to move closer to the United States. With its expanding economic and strategic clout, India is critical to Russia's pivot to Asia's success.